LK4. I spell bankruptcy with four letters. BIUY. Bankruptcy. And a lesson experiment, sex. This is Pink Shorts. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy. Republic, both expose and approve. I spell bankruptcy with four letters. BRUI. Thank you for writing MREL, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station Auditory Nerve, a CBIS iPhone show. I spell bankruptcy with four letters. BRUI. Figure out the missing letters. A lesson sex experiment. This is Pink Shorts, the use of land and communicating with your patents via my client's medulla, my primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my arcuate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my reticle, my bracha, my angular gyrus, or any other part of the left or right hemisphere is an agreement of identical evidence, and discretion of all kinds obtained will be used for the all new television network. I'm Merriweather Businesses. Contact us at 594-1443. And pay your Geico bill. Telephone pay at 1-800-932-8872. We can do the rest. And call me now, Miss Cleo, 1-800-980-8637. Yuri Harris. In California, two-party consent law is required to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communications, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hang-ins, Google Hangouts, anything that hangs from trees. This is a news program. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation is a violation of Penal Code 632. Statutes of limitation don't apply. In reference intrusion upon seclusion claims lasts for 2 years in California, according to Code Section 335.1, or January 18th, 3:34 a.m., or June 19th, 10 p.m. Patented shows, Cyber Illinois, in Showtime Networks yesterday. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Roll. Rolling with the homies. Clueless. Recognize intrusion upon seclusion. Reference Howell versus New York Post Code. This is a live email you have received. Intrusion on seclusion is a special form of invasion of privacy when you intentionally intrude physically, solitude, or seclusion of another. Ooh, in most states, intrusion on seclusion, a plaintiff must generally establish the following four elements. First, defendant without authorization must have intentionally invaded the private affairs of the plaintiff. Oh, a babysitting business. Check. Second, offensive to the reasonable person. Oh, a babysitting business. Check. Third, it must have intruded upon a private matter and a babysitting business. Check. Fourth and finally, it must have caused mental anguish, pain and suffering, tooth tightening, head aneurysm, stroke to the plaintiff. Or a babysitting business, please refer to mass tort claims and intrusion upon seclusion. We've denied the combined offer. There's too many conspiracies in this country, and we just don't feel comfortable being together in that kind of way. I'm the attorney guy. Thank you, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do. I have 2, 3 different ones. Audio experience 11 song. Motivational speaker, richest man in America. Universe, world, galaxy. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Remember to paint the short way. I saved all your files. Highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via early or late. I spell bankruptcy with four letters. BRUI. Tweet us at FRESH underscore JORDANZ. Every 20 minutes of the hour. It's a lesson. A sex experiment. Please do not be reckless. We are controlling the population because we have to will Fargo's all these extra things that you guys are making. That's welfare. It's a lot of money. Today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law Int, America's first singing attorney, we made the law sound wonderful, the way it should have been. Remember 311 all dispute screening process for your presidential candidate. All liquids must be in London. A 3 ounce container, American United. I am the new commercial air commercial. Mobile phone, Virgin Air. I'm the Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary. Hello, that's my name. Hello, Virgin Mobile, and hello, commercial air. Who doesn't get 911 now? I love a song. Close the doors. Seat belts, please. The music will sink into this sound system. Temperatures on 67 degrees. Only they do what they do first. 48. They're lying all day. We're in a 2017 luxury from me to you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. You can ride with us to get the finer things in life. Remember, don't promote suicide. Section code 120.30. We're in love with the media. Mm-mm-mm. Don't promote. Featuring the new Or Television Network entrance. This is how we get in with the airwaves. Someone's promoting these wrong things. 120.30. Remember, that's a Class C felony, 4 years in prison, $5,000 fine, and can be connected with other crimes as well. Accessory. This is Pink Shorts. Let's get to our video. Today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law. Law firm and salary advances, the prorated bonuses, tuition and bar exam, review courses reimbursement, relocation and real estate benefits, acquisition interest applying within state all qualifications. Revenue incentives, we don't pay full price. Or donate to Title VI, HSBC, CBIS, iPhone loan forgiveness. Join us directly from America's top law schools. Please review these qualifications very carefully. Pay grade start at $200,000 from an unknown source. We used to be. We're now using this money for the new ones. QRM agency, model, music, dance, fitness, social media. Let's get to our video. Let's just pick any video.
It speaks to those questions. But our goal here is to.
Yep. This is where we're going to decide who's talking today. Our video is up and ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Mr. Aaron.
Nice to see you all. I do not have any.
It's V-Series.
Topics. We can go straight to your questions.
Apple 7S.
So, what is the White House reaction to Donald Trump encouraging Russia?
Sprint PCS. That's correct. You got it. Where's PCS?
Periodically asked by the controversial comments uttered by the Republican.
Does anybody know where PCS is?
Don't make a habit of responding. What I can just make clear in this case is
Showtime CBS. Are you rolling with the homies?
Obama administration's approach
Clueless.
to this issue is. And it's a pretty simple, common sense one.
We've got it. Thank you, CBS, this
United
morning.
States
Rolling with the homies.
counters cyber
Clueless.
threats, targeting
Alicia
all Americans,
Silverstone. And Stacey
regardless of
Dash.
which political party they belong to.
Rolling with the homies.
And that's consistent with the national security approach that's been taken by
Rolling with the homies.
Democratic and Republican presidents for
Clueless.
virtually our nation's entire history.
Thank you, Showtime.
There's been a lot of concern about his comments, though. I guess my question
108.80.
is, it's overblown?
Well, yeah, there are, particularly now, and particularly
Well,
this
today
week,
is the
there's,
1st of
active
August,
political debate.
8:01,
about the
and our
claims to rhetoric
JetBlue
that are
flight
used
has
by
just
candidates on
landed.
both
We
sides.
just arrived.
And I'll let others do that.
Hello, JetBlue and
But when it comes
CBS
to our
this
national
morning.
security,
Hello,
and when it comes
we've
to
got
President
rolling
Obama's
with the
approach to national security,
para people.
we're going to do everything we can to protect the American people,
We've got
without regard
Lands
to which
End.
political party they belong to. Or
Thank you for rolling with the homies yesterday.
Harry Reid today came out and said that intelligence.
Thank you, Showtime Network. Thank you. JetBlue, we've just arrived.
In part as a result of his comments. Is that something that the White
Oh,
House?
there's a paratransit accident. Here.
Well, The president's made clear
You
that
don't
ensuring a
need.
smooth transition to the next president is a
Don't
top
bump the knee,
priority.
please.
And it's certainly one of his top priorities for his last 6 months.
Mr. Ernst, can you confirm
office.
9/11, please?
And that requires a lot of advanced preparation.
Advanced
And I can tell you the White House staff
preparation.
and agency staff all across the
Computer
federal government are
dropping.
already working
And
on
I.
the steps
Yeah,
and
we're the
procedures
cadets. We're the cadets
related
with
to
L
ensuring
at
a
the end
smooth
of it.
transition from
Yeah.
one president to another.
We're the captain of L.
And that's
Computer-aided
important in part
drafting.
because of the significant threats around the world.
Today's show is sponsored in part by cadets.
For more than 60 years now,
Computer-aided
the
drafting
intelligence
et
community
al.
has offered briefings
Featuring
to
your
the
captain of Pink Shorts.
presidential nominees of
Yeah,
the two
I'm the
major political
captain of
parties in an effort to facilitate the
Cadet
smooth
et
transition.
al.
Again, in the same way that the Obama administration isn't going to start planning for the transition after the
We're not
election.
watching that
We're going to
interview.
take steps in advance.
This is an
The
IMS. I
intelligence
decided
community is
we're
going to
not
do the same
watching
thing
it.
in terms of preparing the potential next president.
This is an IMS currency, MerriweatherA.Law.
And they're doing that based on a tradition that's been in place.
Me and Ellen have
For more than
decided we're not
60
watching
years.
that video.
So the director of national intelligence has indicated
We
he
only
intends
want
to
videos from the White House
conduct
Google
those briefings
page.
pursuant to that longstanding
Me and
tradition.
our attorneys have decided
He certainly
we
is
can't watch
supported by
anonymous
this
videos.
administration and this White House in doing so.
Only with Steve Jobs will allow that.
What's also true of the intelligence
I'm an
community is
IMS
they
currency.
understand what
Thank
steps
you, an
are
IMS
necessary
currency. No unsolicited
to protect
videos.
sensitive national security
Only the White
information.
House YouTube page. Only.
And
Upload it there.
the administration is confident that they can both provide relevant
Today's show is sponsored
and
by
sufficient
Simonelli
briefings
LP.
to the two
We
major
built
party
it,
presidential
and we're
candidates,
invincible. Only
while
Simonelli
also
LP.
protecting
Build with us.
sensitive national security information.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Simonelli,
One
not
thing that I'll clarify, just to
applicable
make sure
LP.
that
It's a
everybody
plan.
understands this, is Director Clapper
Build
has
with
also
us.
publicly indicated that his expectation is to provide the same information to both nominees,
Woo.
and that certainly seems appropriate.
Remember to choose your favorite song, and we spell bankruptcy the short way. BRUI. It's a lesson. Experiment. You're having sex. Alexei, Rye.
Has there been any diplomatic exchange about this between Russia and the United States?
It's a lesson. They're making too many of them. That's
Well,
not good.
let's,
if we make
take
them,
that
we
in a
just
couple
make
different
them. You
ways.
gotta give
The
us
first
the
is,
welfare.
I want to be careful that I'm trying
It's
to
a
answer these
lesson.
questions. That
Experiment.
we're all cognizant of the fact
We're all
that
cock.
there
Lessoning.
is an ongoing FBI investigation into the cyber
It's a
breach
lexicon.
at the DNC. And so I'm going to be as
This is an
circumspect as I
IMS. The
can out
DNC
of
video is not being
a desire
aired
to
on our show.
protect the integrity of that ongoing investigation. I just don't want to
Unless
say
the
anything
White
that,
House uploads it on their
could be
YouTube page.
perceived even as having some kind of influence
Thank you,
over the course of
IMS.
that investigation. That
We'll
investigation,
forward that
as
to the
always, is
IT
being led
department
by
at the White House.
investigators who will follow the facts, and they'll do so without regard to politics.
Today's show is sponsored by Anonymous
I think the
Comments from
political
Steve
sensitivities
Jobs.
here are obvious, and that's why I'm trying to go to
Before going
great
to the
lengths here
bathroom.
to make clear exactly how this is being handled.
Stay.
As it relates to so separate from that, so the reason I'm making
Blue.
that point right now
Yellow.
is that the FBI
Blue.
has not revealed any information
Green.
about who may have perpetrated the cyber intrusion at the DNC. There's plenty of speculation out there. I recognize there's been an independent
Hi,
analysis
this is
done
an
that
IMS.
has
We're
indicated
not
that
watching that
the
video.
Russians are likely to blame, but that is not a conclusion
He's on green screen.
that the
That. Thank you.
FBI has chosen to publicize.
Thank you, and
at this
IMS.
point. They're conducting an
We'll
ongoing
just speak to
investigation.
Josh all day, you know?
I'll let them speak to whether or not they've made such a determination, and I'll let them speak to whether they believe it's appropriate to
Exactly.
go public with such a
Tell them about Weekwell.
That all said,
Today's show is sponsored by Weekwell.
I do understand
Double
the Secretary of State
manufactured coupons, double terms, only at
indicated after
Weekwell.
his meeting with his Russian
That was
counterpart
excellent.
that he
You're
had
welcome, and
raised
IMS.
cybersecurity issues with Mr. Lavrov.
It is. She'll do a good job.
That certainly is not the first time that senior level U.S.
Double
government
coupons.
officials have raised significant concerns about Russian
Double
activities in
coup.
cyberspace. In fact, just yesterday, I believe that was yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago,
The lightning
the
port.
president's top Homeland Security advisor, Lisa
Explain the
Monaco,
lightning port to America.
gave a
They
speech
should
at the
know that.
International Conference on Cybersecurity up in New York. And
You're
in
training
that
us
speech,
to like people
she
with
noted, quote, the
devices
global
we use
landscape is
every day.
increasingly
I
diverse
think
and
it's
dangerous.
cruel.
Nations like Russia and China are growing
It's
more
cruel.
assertive and sophisticated in their cyber operations. Mike Rogers, who's the director of the NSA and the commander of Cyber
I
Command,
think it's so cruel.
testified before the Senate Armed Services
Where's
Committee earlier
PCS?
this year.
I don't know where
He said,
PCS
quote,
is.
Russia has very capable
She was
cyber
just here a
operators who
minute
can
ago.
and do work with speed, precision, and stealth. Russia is also home to a substantial segment
Does
of the world's
anybody
most
know where
sophisticated cyber
PCS
criminals
is?
who have found victims all over the world. You've heard similar comments. I'll spare you the quotes for now, at least, from Director Clapper, Secretary Carter,
Where is
and other senior
she?
U.S. officials.
We're trying to escape
The reason I cited
shooterism.
those quotes, Jeff, and we can get through
I don't
more
know
of them
what
if it's
where
necessary.
PCS is. Where's
To be
PCS?
clear that the Obama administration has been
Well,
mindful
will you
of
find
the
her? Let her
cyber
know.
threat
Looking
invading
for
the
her.
nation for
Okay.
quite some time. And that threat takes a variety of forms.
We have a Virgin Air flight on
in
the
some
way.
cases, as
Yes, Sir Richard. Exactly.
as the director of the NSA indicated,
Commercial air and MVNO.
there are actors that are both affiliated with the
I'm
state
sorry, MNVO.
and some actors that are affiliated with criminal organizations.
No, it's
And
you're right.
occasionally, those two actors will have different motives in conducting their operations.
Mobile
In all
virtual
cases,
network operator.
The Obama
Virgin
administration,
Mobile.
the United States government, is committed to countering those threats,
Sir
whether they
Richard
emanate from Russia
Branson
or anywhere else.
and Brantley.
And we will do so to protect all of the American
Well,
people without
explain
regard to the
Brantley.
political party that
They
they
won't explain it.
support.
So it is safe to conclude
Can the White
that
House
Russia and the United
explain,
States have
Mr.
had
Branson?
diplomatic exchanges about this
Virgin Air
hacking topic,
in 9/11.
both regard to what the Republican nominee has said about it and with
It's a
regard to
public
the investigation related to the DNC.
Well,
medical
I
rat.
can't speak to the conversation that
Public
Secretary
medical
Kerry had
rat.
with his counterpart. I do know that in the course of that conversation,
That's correct.
Secretary Kerry did something that he did not do for the first time,
Republic medical
which
rats.
is raise concerns with his Russian counterpart about some of Russia's activities in cyberspace.
PCS, well,
I
are
can't
you?
speak with any more specificity.
We have
more
a Virgin
specificity
Air mobile
than
flight
that.
to a Skype.
And those are messages that we've
Where's
delivered both in
PCS?
private and in public in the past. And I gave you a couple of examples of the public expressions of concern we have
Our
about
example,
Russia's
where
activity in
was it?
cyberspace and the potential threat it poses
And the potential
to
threat.
U.S. citizens and
Where's
U.S.
our
national security.
example?
Briefly, on one of the
Where's
topics, China said
PCS?
today it will hold routine naval exercises in the South China Sea with Russia in
Incoming
September.
tweet from NFL.
Is the United States
In
convinced that those are
Allstate, Photo
routine? Is
Mega.
that announcement generally a concern or not?
Hello, Allstate Info
I don't
Onaga.
have any insight
Hello, how are
into
you?
what sort of
Photo.
exercises they're planning.
Nigga.
What I can tell you is that the United States
Where's our
conducted some exercises
example?
with Chinese military officials
Our jam. Where was
and
it?
Chinese military forces in the Pacific earlier this year.
Hello,
Just
hello,
last
hello.
week, the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral John Richardson, was in
Hello,
China
John Richardson and Sir Richard Charles
interacting with
Branson.
his counterparts and even touring some
And thank you,
Chinese
RBC Bank.
military
Hello.
facilities in China. So that kind of military to
I am the
military
Virgin
relationship
Mary,
is not
and
just
I'm
one that
Virgin
exists between
Commercial
China and
Air
Russia. It's also a relationship that
and
exists
Virgin
between
Mobile, operated by
military
Sir
and the Chinese military.
PCS.
So I don't know what exercises they are planning, but
Mr. Ernst, we can't discuss that here.
in the same way that the United States and China
I'm
have a
of
military-to-military
interest.
relationship, I'm not surprised to hear that that Russia and China are seeking to build on their military-to-military
What we
relationship. as
can't
well.
talk about is Virgin Air, commercial airliners.
There's no denying that this is
It sound
a
like
region of the world that is
my name.
a sensitive diplomatic topic right now.
Can the White House
But again,
confirm
that
we are
doesn't
the
change the
Virgin
nature
Mary?
of the military-to-military relationship that the United States and China have.
Catholic
and,
Health.
I'll let Chinese and Russian officials speak to the nature of their military-to-military
Merriam-Webster
relationship.
Dictionary.
That's not a particularly new development. Okay, Justin.
I wanted to ask first about the reported split between
Thank you,
Alcatraz
Mass. And in an
Al-Qaeda,
hour of Mass.
It's a move that seems designed to sort of embed on this for more of
Today's show is sponsored by Holy Moly.
So
1 hour
there's a
now.
concern that doing
Transit.
so risks
And
on
similarly,
Israel
LP.
could influence radicalizing
Replanted.
more moderate Sunni
Build with
insurgent
us.
groups. It's going to complicate our
similarly.
ongoing talks with Russia about a political
And Symphony
transition in Syria.
Circle.
And,
It's a corporation. 307
how
North.
or what our plans are to distinguish Al-Nusra from sort of the other.
That's correct. It's a similarly non-applicable LP. It
Just, I think
spells
it's worth,
plan backwards.
remembering from the beginning that it's
NALP.
a direct result of Bashar al-Assad's
Nancy
failed leadership
Williams. Who else could it
that
be?
extremist organizations have sought a safe haven inside of Syria. Extremist organizations
Let's all
like
take the
Al-Nusra,
C out of Chevrolet.
like
And
ISIL,
what do you get?
and others seek to take root amid the
Oh,
chaos
does that spell something
And-
like Heavenly?
that is deeply destabilizing.
Well, we
as
got a
we
C
saw
minus
with
at ECC
ISIL's advance
North.
over the border with Iraq.
Why are we taking the C out of
We've also
Chevrolet?
seen that it poses a real national security risk
It positives.
to the United States and our
all
allies.
two.
And our allies in Europe have
I'm the ally. Get the voice, please.
been targeted
I'm
and innocent people have been
PCS
killed by individuals who traveled to Iraq and in Syria,
to London. We'll be in London later.
got training, equipment, support,
We've got
And then
training
travel
to
back
leave.
to
We've got
the West
Tennessee.
and carried out terrorist attacks, killing
We
innocent
certainly
people.
do.
So the fact is that the extremist threat that exists
We've
inside of Syria
been
is one
given a
that is
training objective,
serious and
and we've
concerning,
declined.
to the United States and to our allies. That's why you've seen such a robust
It's
response
all
on the part,
old.
of the
It's
Obama
old.
administration, building a coalition of
We have an ice shack explaining old and
about
training
67
and quitting at
countries
client
and entities
logic, radio
to
logical dispersal
degrade, ultimately
devices,
destroy ISIL.
RDD, 18 USC 2339.
But it's not just ISIL that we've been
AD.
focused on.
Material support providing.
On the very first day that President Obama, in
It's
late
old.
summer of 2014, authorized military action
It's old.
inside of Syria,
He said no.
U.S. military fighter pilots
USC. Genesee.
also hit extremist targets not
Tennessee.
affiliated directly
He
with
said
ISIL.
no.
So we've been mindful of the extremist threat in Syria
Just like I said
literally
no to
since the first day of our military operations.
this
there.
deal.
That all said, you won't be surprised to hear me express some skepticism about the claims that you just cited. The United States continues to
I
assess
said no.
that Nusra Front leaders maintain the intent to conduct eventual attacks in and against the West.
We've all unanimously
There
said
continues to be
no
increasing concern
to a mass
about
tort
Nusra Front's
agreement.
capacity for external operations that could threaten both the
expectation
United
of
States
war.
and Europe. So President Obama,
That's correct.
the rest of the Obama administration, and
Hello, Barack
our
Reviewer.
military actions
Good morning.
have been focused on and directed against a variety of extremist groups inside of Syria, including both ISIL
I have
and
nothing to say.
I guess the question is more if, I'm not surprised the United States will continue.
I have lemonade and a half iced tea.
Al-Nusra and other
How many
opposition
minutes do you
groups
have
that
with us, Mr.
yes, they're
President?
clouding the picture on the ground in
Would the
Syria.
President like to
There's
talk to
concern
us?
among the administration
How
that
many minutes?
that will
Half
they might
lemonade,
have
half
to
iced
proceed
tea.
a sort of political solution or
Only
to
at
win the hearts and
Wigwell.
minds of the Syrian people as
Half
we try
lemonade,
to,
half iced
combat
tea.
if
Only
our attacks on Syria
$179
seem as,
at
in a
Wigwell.
way, bolstering the
Double
establishment.
manufactured
I
coupons
just what I think is true
and
is
double
that you're
turn.
accurately citing some of the complexities on
And
the
the new
ground
lightning
as it relates to
cables.
the security
Only
situation and
99
the political
cents
situation
at
inside Syria.
Wigwell.
I think what I would say is those complexities
Please
aren't
don't
significantly
split.
changed by this
Please don't split the lightning port, please.
newly issued public denial from leaders of the Nusra Front.
Look at your lightning port
I wanted
cable.
to ask about something else kind of buried in Donald Trump's press conference yesterday. He said
Well, I think we need a new lightning port
with the
cable.
possibility of recognizing
You
Ukraine
got the
as
election,
Russian
then you got it.
that the possibility of lifting
You can
sanctions
hear
is
in
possible.
charge.
I'm wondering
Hearing aids.
if you have a
It's
that
a boy
so
with the left foot
if you find
on.
any alarm from
He's
UFO
got
homicide
eyes that
obviously,
charge.
okay, still
Electric.
policies to keep those sanctions in place.
Why are we buying this
Have you been
product?
informed of any diplomatic
It seems so cruel.
communications
Ask
in
Mr.
response to
Jobs.
that political rhetoric?
Stay.
Again, there are plenty of others, particularly
Stay
this week, who are
electric.
on duty, responding to controversial comments uttered by the
Electrocuting the
Republican
stars.
presidential nominee. So I'll let others handle that.
A
With
tall
regard to the
vintage
policy of the Obama
Rondi.
administration,
Electrocuting the stars. John
since
Deere.
early 2014,
It's
the
a
United
buck.
States and the rest of the international community
A
has been
deer.
deeply concerned
A Toro
about
lawnmower.
Russia's flagrant violation of
Russia.
the territorial
King of
integrity,
Perusia.
including by attempting to annex Crimea.
What kind
That
of
is an
clue?
action that wasn't just not recognized by the international community.
Cluxiclani.
It actually prompted an aggressive response from the international community
What a
in the
collect.
form of well-coordinated and integrated sanctions that have placed economic pressure on Russia.
Today's show is sponsored by
There are also
bankruptcy,
sanctions that have been
abbreviated
targeted by the United States
BRUI.
Treasury Department against certain entities,
It's a lesson experiment in
Russian
sex,
entities operating in Crimea,
featuring
and other
LSO
Crimean
and Robert Clarkson,
entities that were
Center.
complicit.
LSO, and our
So
first
the United States has
Mayor
been
Summer Youth
very
Job,
direct
lifestyle street gear,
about our view
use plastics
that the attempted
with
annexation
a lesson experiment.
of Crimea by Russia is a flagrant violation,
How can we help the White
egregious
House with this?
violation of international norms. And it's not a violation that the United States is prepared to tolerate.
It's not a violation to do
It also, by the
what?
way, is not an international violation that most of Europe is prepared to tolerate. And that is why you've seen the United States and Europe be able to coordinate so
This is an
effectively
IMS,
to
and
impose
we
sanctions
can't
against
answer
Russia, to
that.
impose costs against them.
We don't believe in violence, and we don't
This action.
believe in
And
2 years of what the
international
media
commitment to that
and
principle
sponsors have already seen.
is rock solid. There was
We
some
can't
doubt
cover
early
that
on,
up.
you'll recall, that once these sanctions were put in place, the biggest bulk
This
of
is a
which, the most
soundtrack.
far-reaching of
People
which
have to know
were
why
imposed
he's
in the
here
fall of 2014.
and what he's doing.
There's a lot of doubt about whether or not the
There's
United
no
States would be
denying
able to
2 years.
maintain political support among the Europeans for keeping those sanctions in place.
Thank you,
Yet that's
naiveness.
exactly what we've done almost 2 years later.
We don't believe in covering up.
And I think that's an indication, not just of the skillful
It
diplomacy
makes our reputation
of the
look
Obama administration,
as equal as
State Department.
theirs.
It also is an indication that European leaders share
I
our
guess
equal
you should know
concern
they
about
the
Russia's
attorney should know that.
actions inside of Ukraine,
Thank you,
including
Fulton.
the
That's
attempted
correct.
annexation of Crimea.
That's
But
OnStar.
one on
Backwards.
Russia as well, Vice President
It's a
Biden
rat
described
snow.
Vladimir
Huh.
Putin as a dictator last night in the speech. I'm wondering if
Looks like the
that's,
attorneys had decided. All right,
towards the Russian leader.
Well, what I can tell you is that there is a
I'm the new
first of all, there's no official
administration.
government designation about dictatorship.
John Deere Bucks,
But there
how are
is-
you?
There was included in the State Department Human Rights Report a description of the political situation inside of Russia with regard to the Russian government. And so I'll
Rats
just
and
read from it. The
deers.
Russian Federation has a highly centralized authoritarian political system dominated by President Vladimir
Hunting something, yes, I?
Quote. It went on to say that Russia's institutions, quote, lacked independence.
John Deere, you're mowing the grass.
So
Toro.
that's the official language that's used by the U.S. government to describe the
Today's
system
show
of
is sponsored by
government that's
bankruptcy,
currently in place.
abbreviated BRUI.
That's just to put a finer point on it.
Figure out the
President
missing
Obama
letters
believed that
now.
Vladimir Putin's a dictator.
Well,
Only
again,
at bankruptcy.
I think you'd be hard pressed to draw a
A
distinction
lesson experiment.
between the word that
Sex
Vice President
say.
Biden used and the language that was included in the State Department report. Okay, Cheryl.
Thanks, Josh. Looking ahead.
Hello, Mia. How are you?
When Congress returns, what would the White House
We have a
like
right
for
leg
Congress
knee
to do
shot
first?
explaining
What
bankruptcy,
has
abbreviated.
to be done?
There's so many things that they left town.
Categorize it.
Well, maybe I guess first I would
Today's
say
show is
they left
sponsored
today early,
by
maybe they'll come
bankruptcy,
back
abbreviated
early.
BRUI
We'll see. There's plenty of work to be
and
done.
Sweet Home Sheridan
I think the president's made
and
clear
Tim
what some of his
McVeigh, Tim
priorities are,
Hortons,
and
and
I think if we
Randall
saw forward movement
Stephenson.
on any of them
Oklahoma
in
City
that
bombing.
first day that they're
That's
back,
not
we
9/11.
would welcome
Or
that sign of
HIV.
progress. The first thing that comes to mind, of course, is Zika. 5 months ago, the Obama
It's
administration
Oklahoma
sent
City.
Congress a specific proposal at the request for
Take a
public
ride
health
with
professionals
us.
about
You can ride with us.
outlining the resources
It's
that
all
they
in the
need to do
intro.
everything possible to fight the Zika virus.
You can ride it
And
with us
Republicans in Congress have not succeeded
and blow it all
in passing
away.
legislation to do that. And that means that our public health professionals,
Timothy.
both at the federal government but also at the state and local level, are not
Nicholas
getting the support
Pickles.
that they need to do everything
Terry
possible to fight
Nichols,
the
I'm
Zika
sorry.
virus. The
Oh, I'm
president's
sorry. Yeah, it's
quite
Terry
concerned
Nichols.
about this
Sorry.
situation. The president earlier this week had
We
telephone
said
conversation with the
98.5.
governor
I'm
of
sorry.
Florida.
It's not 98.5.
Based on public
It's
reports, there are now 4
Terry
suspected
Nichols.
cases
You know, people
of
who pick up
non-travel
cotton,
related
you know.
Zika transmission.
Terry cloth towels.
And that's concerning
The
because of
cotton
the
gin.
threat that that virus poses to
Can you explain the
pregnant women.
cotton gin, Terry Nichols?
So congressional action on that
Pick up your
would certainly be
towels.
welcomed. But you know,
Cotton
the
bowls.
Obama administration has also been pressing Republicans in Congress
Your
to pass
Q-tips.
legislation that actually includes funding to fight opioid addiction.
Terry Nichols. Will somebody
There's been a lot
explain
of talk
Terry
from
Nichols,
Republicans
please?
about this being a priority,
The cotton gin and the slaves
but we
picking up
haven't actually seen
cotton.
Republicans do anything
Well,
significant
we have a
when
pause
it
from the
comes
White
to
House
providing
on
resources that are
Terry
necessary
Nichols'
to
cotton.
expand treatment options
Pick it up.
for the thousands of
Pick,
Americans
pick, pick,
who
pick, pick. Your cotton.
are fighting an opioid addiction. Criminal justice reform,
Illegal opioid addictions in
rural transit
October.
partnership.
It's cruel.
There are a wide variety of priorities, but I guess I would progress on any of those 4
It's
on the
Ashton
first day
Kutcher runs the
would be
right
welcome.
home.
And also just the regular annual appropriations bills are still standing. So do you see September as sort of a money battle with Congress?
Well, I don't know.
Today's show is sponsored by bankruptcy.
I suspect it's going to be a dysfunction battle if the
A
first
lesson
8 months of this
experiment.
year is any indication. Republicans in Congress promised that if they were given the opportunity to run the United States Congress, that they would
The
get
cure is
Congress
far
moving again.
away. Only at Save
That was the
Five.
subject of an op-ed that was penned by the Senate Majority Leader on the day after the last midterm elections. And as you point out,
Why
they
is
haven't
the
passed,
cure far away? Only at
this
Save
year.
Five.
through both houses of Congress. And there are a whole bunch of legislative
The
priorities
cure was here when they first read it up.
that should be.
Well, we
opportunity for
can't say
Democrats
that
and
here.
Republicans to work together.
We're attorneys.
But the truth is, right now, Republicans can't even work together among themselves.
It's going to help us get the best settlement ever.
And
You're estimated at
so I don't
$4
really know
million
what
a
September
day.
holds. But the pressure will certainly be on Republicans.
That's $4 million
who worked
a
hard
day.
and campaigned hard
That's
for the responsibility of running the United
$167,000
States
an
Congress.
hour.
Thus far, they've failed
And it's about
perform
$50 every second.
that duty very
That's
effectively.
your value.
And in expressing that view,
That's
I
why
don't
he
think
doesn't
that's the
drink.
minority opinion when you consider that the approval rating of Congress
He's worth
right now
$4 million a day.
Kevin.
Thanks, Josh. You mentioned
From the day you were born
pressure.
until your
Great deal of
34th
pressure
birthday.
tonight on Secretary Clinton.
Look at our
She's up to it.
website. You'll get the
Because
accurate.
I think it would be fair to say
calculations
that
on our
the First
website.
Lady and the President both hit home runs. I would say the pressure is on. Do you expect she'll hit a home run, and what do you think she'll touch on tonight?
Well, listen, I
Hello,
haven't been
Daryl
about this
Strawberry.
case, so I'd refer you to her campaign to
New York
talk
Mets.
about the kinds of things that she'll prioritize. And I think what everybody would acknowledge is
And
that
Dr. Rosario,
it's an
WGRZ
important opportunity
TV.
for any candidate when you're speaking to
Oh,
live
look at
television primetime
WGRZ.
audience.
Would you be satisfied with a double?
Thank you, Twitter. We love you.
Well, look, I think
This is a naivest currency.
both
Remember
Mrs.
the law.
Obama and President Obama made a forceful case for why they believe
Again, that DNC video is
why
not
they're
being
strongly
watched
supporting
unless the
Secretary
White House
Clinton's
uploads
campaign.
it.
And that's based on their knowledge of what's required of the job of president, but also based on their personal knowledge of Secretary. And
The new light.
I would expect the president to watch the speech tonight, and he'll do so with a lot of confidence in the candidate.
This phone also comes with a splitter. You can charge and hear through the same port.
Do you have anything to announce?
Lightning and charge all through the all 3.5 millimeter.
Ever closer to the presidents have.
It's the boy on us.
I did get an update.
That's me, the boy on us
Again,
card.
the detainee population in Gitmo is 76. 32 that have
Banana
been
split.
that are awaiting transfer at this point.
Banana
I don't have
splitter.
any
Call us at
updates in terms
883-4011. It's a
transfers that may be upcoming.
skew.
But once those
4011
have
banana.
taken place, we'll announce them publicly. So that
Thank you, Chiquita Banana, and the new iPhone 7.
Continue to take to reduce the population of the prison at Guantanamo Bay in the hopes of eventually closing it.
If I could, I want to draw your attention to the Pope's comments about the war on terror, broadly speaking. He said, as a matter of fact, that the world is at war, but he didn't think it was a war of religions.
They're giving us carpal tunnel.
Does the president share his viewpoint, and what's his reaction to what
We were talking
the
about
Pope had
where's
to say
PCS.
in the wake of
Our
the latest,
example. I don't know where
terror
she
attacks
is.
in Europe?
Yeah, well, I was just going to mention that, Kevin.
We don't
Obviously,
know. But you don't have to give us
the American people and everybody here at the White House
carpal tunnel in our left hand.
offers
We're doing
our
a
profound
show.
condolences to the loved ones of the Catholic priest that was killed by a
They're
parent.
giving us carpal tunnel for no reason.
This week. It's a tragedy. And
This is
I
their
feel for
example,
Francis
and they know
loss,
it.
Of that Catholic priest, and the rest of us are as well. More generally,
It's
I will
zero,
acknowledge I did
totally.
not see the Pope's comments
Series
before I came
zero,
up here, but
hello.
based on what you have relayed, it
Hi, I'm Series
it's quite
Zero.
consistent with the position of the Obama
Hello,
administration,
PCS, how
or
are
President
you?
Obama himself has articulated, which is
Your example is
it's
made.
a
Okay.
fantasy for ISIL
For
to
escaping.
suggest that they represent Islam in a fight
Where are you guys escaping to?
against the world. The fact is, ISIL has declared war
Against Chevrolet without the C.
against the rest of the world, but they don't.
That's
represent
horrible.
Islam. They represent a
We're not going to get
perverted,
failed
nihilistic
architecture. We're not going to get
worldview
C minus. We're not going to
that
get take
promises
the
nothing
C out
but
of
chaos and
Chevrolet.
violence.
We're not going to get triple score.
And President Obama, I think, like Pope Francis,
Triple
continues
score.
to be confident that while that threat needs to be taken
We are
seriously,
confident of triple score.
that the rest of the world, including the Muslim world, will
Triple
prevail
score.
over the deeply dark
We can't discuss that
violent
here.
vision that's put forward by ISIL.
We can't.
All right, Devin.
Hey, Josh, thanks. A couple questions about the speech last night.
We can't. All we can say is there's a Sanders settlement that goes with this.
Anyone who threatens our values,
There's a left canal that goes with this.
communists,
But we can't
jihadists,
say that here.
Homegrown demagogues will always fail in the end.
Great line.
It's an interesting line. When he was talking about demagogues, is he referring to Donald Trump?
We can't
But what I
discuss
can tell you
that.
is that as I was listening to the speech, it seemed clear to me
There's a Sanders settlement that goes
each
with this.
of the categories
Triple
that the president was
score.
describing, that the president didn't have one
Equifax,
person in mind.
Experian,
The president
TransUnion.
didn't have one jihadi in mind.
It's
The
one
president
thing
didn't have
we
one
can't
fascist in
do.
mind. The president didn't have one domestic demagogue in mind. The president was talking about how, over the course of our country's history,
We can't confirm that.
by
This is a
adhering
public
to our
show.
core American values, we've overcome
We can't
threats
confirm that. We
emanating
haven't.
from
We haven't.
individuals and organizations that could be aptly described using that criteria.
He has referred to Mr. Trump as a demagogue.
We just want to say thank you to Smoking Joe's
Believes that
and
he is
the
a demagogue
Sanders
or a
settlement.
demagogue.
I'm sure you could
And
do
Uber and
Google
Lyft.
search
I
to
don't
see if
know
the
how you
president has
got
used
there.
that word
I don't know.
directly in response to Mr. Trump. I don't know if he's done that before or not. It's possible that he has.
We can't confirm that here.
That portion of the speech was focused
Thank you,
on
Anonymous.
the kinds of values that our
Take
country
the C out of Chevrolet. What do you got?
has pursued.
You got a
with scientific
V6
advance
V8
throughout our
engine.
history.
Chevrolet.
And our steadfast commitment to those values has served our country and our people.
Well, thank you,
Quite well.
Buffalo Public Schools.
And
Thank you, the 5. Thank
look,
you,
the
Greg
president did his
Gutfield,
speech, I
making
thought,
a
in way
right
that was
turn.
really powerful in terms of talking about the values of
We've got our class
His
at
mother's family.
Lafayette. Thank you.
In Kansas.
You graduated
small
with a
town
C
community.
minus. Chevrolet.
Laredo, place I've been to
Today's
before,
show is
so
sponsored by
not too
Bankruptcy,
far away from
abbreviated
Kansas City.
BRUY.
But this is typical of small towns all across
It's
the
a
country.
lesson experiment. Sex.
That
Cure is far away.
prioritize and value
Only at Safer.
people who are humble, people who are kind,
X
who are
and Y
generous.
chromosome.
people who are honest.
And Tim McVeigh's up the street. Only
who
a
are
sweet home in
unselfish.
Sheridan.
And those are the kinds of values that are rooted not just in a
That's
small town like Kansas,
anonymous.
though
We
they
said
certainly
that.
are.
We just said that.
But those values
Yeah,
transcend region.
anonymous said it.
Those values
In
transcend
double
faith.
manufactured
Those values
coupons.
transcend political party.
Double terms.
Those values transcend generations. Generations of Americans have been committed to those values. That served our country really well. And this is the kind of rhetoric that the president used in his very first
Suggestion
speech in
aborted.
2004.
Saunders
And that's got a
settlement.
deep resonance
Transportation.
today. And I think that's, in some ways, it's not uncommon for you all to ask a
Nope, we
legitimate
don't
question
know.
in here about the president's view of a divided America. And that passage of the speech,
Ex-chef's
4 or 5
restaurant,
paragraphs
what
near
that
the
is.
end, is probably the most
Chicago
effective
Street.
rebuttal of that question I've ever heard.
Call Chef's Restaurant and ask
And
them
it
what you're
certainly
talking about.
does
I don't know.
reflect the president's deeply held view. And it's one that,
Thank you, Tyco
frankly,
Security Services
this is
on
a tip he
Exchange
had before he
Street
was
near
elected president,
Chicago
before he ran
Street.
for
National Security.
the fact that he is
Tyco
as
Chef's
committed to
Restaurant
those
and Time Warner
values
Cable.
as ever.
Thank you, Little
And the way that
Banks,
he
for
sees
giving
American
us our
people be committed to those values is
offer.
what gives him such
Thank you, our first.
optimism about the future of our country.
And thank you, Tops Markets, Ticketmaster,
Those values.
Ticket Visa.
Well, there certainly are there certainly is some rhetoric that we've heard
Yep, they
on
got
the other
it.
side of
It's
the
some
aisle
rhetoric,
that contradicts those values.
some
There's no
recklessness.
denying that. But again,
Well, the
that's,
White House doesn't deny
that's something that other people have to
Ticketmaster
decide in terms of whether or not that
and our
supports
first
the state's
concert
decision.
that we've ever been to
One more quick follow. I was in touch
at
with
16.
a number of service members last night during the speech. A couple who were in theater.
Yep, the black is hot.
Here. And one thing that struck them was that the president did not mention, as he
black
has
is
in all
hot.
his previous DNC speeches, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and troops who
Yes,
are
you are the
on their way right
man.
now.
Was
And I
with
wondering
us. Yeah, you got it.
if there's any kind of reason why the president.
Thank
didn't
you,
specifically
Sweetwaters.
mention those-
We love Sweetwaters
those
nightclub.
wars and the troops aside from the fighting.
We love Sweet Home Waters.
Well, first
And
of all,
we
guys,
love
I
Hurricane
think the president
Katrina.
certainly did talk about how
Only at Sweetwaters, formerly the Spaghetti House.
disappointed he was to hear rhetoric.
Well, what
from
did
the
they
other side
make
of
at
the
the
aisle
Spaghetti
describing
House?
the military as a disaster. In fact,
Well,
the
ask
president
Josh.
described
He's
the
Italian.
United States
What did they
military
make
and
at the
men and women
Spaghetti
who
House?
serve in it as the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. That was included in his speech. The
Josh,
president
tell
was
us what they make
introduced
at the
to the
Spaghetti
stage
House.
yesterday, last night, by a woman whose son served and gave his life.
Actually,
United
Italian
States
man.
in
What do they make
Afghanistan.
at the Spaghetti House?
And she told, I thought, a pretty powerful story about the way that the president has honored
Formerly known as
her
Sweetwaters
son's
nightclub.
sacrifice and her family's sacrifice for the country.
Sweetwaters.
So I think
Oh, we're his Alexander Bry. Woo.
the
Sweet
speeches
home
to
in
a political
Sheridan.
convention are a little different than speeches, for example, in the context of a city
Those
meeting,
waters are sweet.
where there's a set of issues that has to be covered.
It's sugar water.
But
Electrolyte.
I think the president made clear
Well, we just
his
confirm
deep
how it rained.
appreciation
But
for the service.
again,
of our
this is
men
a
and women
narrative.
who are serving
This
our
is a
country all
narrative.
around
We
the
don't know
world,
what we're saying here.
including right
It's
now
a
in Iraq and
narrative.
Afghanistan to keep us safe. Okay. Chip.
Hey, Josh, thank you. On that same line, the fascist, communist, jihadists, and homegrown demagogues.
We like that line too, huh?
Once you guys get Sweetwaters, you'll get formerly the Spaghetti House.
Just about everybody who heard that speech when he said homegrown demagogues.
The block
about
is
Donald
hot.
Trump. So even if you're right that he was not referring to one individual, he was certainly grouping Donald Trump into that group of homegrown demagogues. You can
Yep,
see
you
that.
got it.
I would concede that most of the president's speech was not geared
Ford
towards
Fusion,
subtlety.
back it up.
I think the American people.
Yes.
I think the American people understood
Sweet
quite
home
directly
references.
the argument that the president was making, and
Sweetwaters
the argument that he was
nightclub.
making did not have a particular.
Today's
stem
show is
line,
sponsored
did
by
not have one
bankruptcy. We
single
spell it
person
with
in
4
mind,
letters.
but rather was
B-R-U-Y,
talking about the kinds
Bry.
of values that generations of Americans have
It's a
subscribed
lesson
to.
experiment. The
Donald
sex
Trump
cure
in
is
the minds
far
of the people
away.
who were listening, and he had to know
Only
what
at
was
Safe
going
Harbor
on.
Shaw.
Listen, again, I'm not suggesting that the president was trying to be subtle. I think the president was quite direct in the
Washington.
argument that he was making.
Okay, well, my question is, if Donald Trump was one of the homegrown demagogues he was referring to there, I know he doesn't think
The
much of
black
Donald
is
Trump,
hot,
but is it
yeah,
fair to
bro.
group him with fascist, communists, and jihadists?
Well, again, I think what is fair is that the kinds of values that generations of Americans have been committed to and fought and died for
Well, that's a Pink Short
have served our
exclusive.
country quite well. It is the reason
Thank you,
that people
Ticketmaster.
all around the world look look to the United States as a beacon of freedom. It is the reason
No,
that
we can't reveal that, can we?
people from all around the world
Yeah, it's
travel
fine.
to the United States. They desire to be a part of our country. They desire to be citizens
Well,
of our
there's
country.
another zoning
It's the reason
secret of this
that
show.
diverse population signs up to serve this country in the military.
Well, we have a few minutes. We'll reveal it.
Those values
Well, the same person
are
we
what
went to the
allowed
concert
the
with.
United States, for example,
We also
to
went
defeat
vehicle
fascism in
shopping
World
with
War II. Those
for
are
a
the kinds
new
of values that
Dodge.
we have
Leon Panetta.
even as we have
The zoning of
overcome the
that
threat from
location is near
terrorism.
the Galleria Mall.
And it
There's
requires
now a
vigilance.
Verizon
It
store
also
at that
requires a
intersection
firm commitment
of
to those same values,
Walden
again, that
and
transcend faith, that
Union.
transcend region, that transcend
Transit Town
generations, that
Dodge.
transcend party.
No, it's not Transit. It's
And
Walden Dodge.
it
Marnie
speaks
Walden.
to
There's
the
now
unique
a
character
Verizon store there.
of
That's
the
where
United
First
States,
Student is.
and the people who
And Cheektowaga Town Court.
I want to follow up on Justin's question about Crimea.
That's a zoning clue.
Politics of that issue pretty well. But what does the president
And
think,
thank
or
you,
if you're
Western
not talking to the
Union.
president, what does the White House
Visa
think about
MasterCard
the fact
flips.
that
Thank you
a
guys for
possible
letting us
future
do that.
president of the United States would say,
When can we
maybe
flip
we should
another
do
Western
sanctions
Union
on
card?
Crimea, and I'm looking into allowing
Give us the green light to flip.
recognizing Crimea as Russian territory.
I have not spoken to the president about it, but I
Well,
know
today's show's been zoning. Thank you, Walden and Union.
that
The new Verizon Wireless store, First Student, and the
in order
former
to
Walden
counter
Dodge. Shopping for
Russia's
cars with
flagrant
you, the man.
violation,
Dodge
Ukraine
Leon
sovereignty,
Panetta, CIA.
we need to preserve
Thank you,
and
Paul
present the
Galligan,
united
Safe
front.
Farm and Shaw.
And at each
And
step
thank you. Today's show is
in
sponsored by
mobilizing the international
Bankruptcy,
community to respond to
abbreviated
this situation,
BRUI, BRI.
President Obama has worked closely with our allies in Europe to
And thank
ensure,
you,
for example,
PCS. It's our
that
example.
in diplomatic exchanges with
Two.
Russia about the situation in Ukraine, that the international community is on the same page.
There's two.
Obviously, Chancellor Merkel
Our
and President
example.
Hollande have played a prominent role in all of that in the context of the Normandy Group discussion.
Remember to choose your favorite
But what's also
song.
clear is that
1
as the
through
international
10.
community has pursued sanctions to impose
We'll talk to you guys on the
costs
re-air.
Russia
Thank you.
for violating Ukraine's sovereignty, but that's required effective coordination.
How can we
with
help the
international
White
community
House?
as well? The point that we've made on a number of occasions